It's going down like this, motherfucker.
This shit is crazy. The following
Nigga get mad. Say, motherfucker, what you mean you ain't gonna let me in this funky joint? Much money I done spent in here, nigga. I knew your mama when she was hoeing. Hump, baby. Shit, bet I do it over time. Fade that, nigga. Shit. Bar, bet the bar, off time. Shit, boy, I'm trying to make me some money. Boy, I'm hungry as a hog need slop Jesus. Shit, gotta be a Jesus, cause too many black folks.
For what he has, he says that the only way that we can solve our problem is to unite together among ourselves, among our own kind, clean ourselves up, rid ourselves of the evils that we've become addicted to here in this society.
Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy, yes, he destroy black boys. Yes, he destroy black boys. Yes, he destroy black boys. If you destroy him as a boy, he'll never become a man.
This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying. This ain't loud enough. This ain't loud enough. I'm still trying.
I just left a light in this bitch. I'm finna hit the shop in this shit.
Hey, where the white women at?
I'm trying to told you just with Herbie, man.
Hey, where the white women at?
I'm trying to told you just with Herbie, man.
Hey,
No,
where
your
the
mind
white
is
women
fucked.
at?
God damn it, shit.
Hey, where the white women at?
I'm trying to told you. I'm trying to told you. I'm trying to told you.
Well, gotta get a piece of mind.
Yes, he destroy black.
Joe feet. He looked down, seen his feet. The nigga went berserk. Killed the monkey. Threw the bat out the window. Start kicking that bitch in the air.
Say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously in no time switch its rotation also because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around, and this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously. Can you?
You don't understand. It's cool enough just being cool, like I am, chilling.
Group of you together, you never can tell who's who.
I've seen a lot of black guys, Nipsey, but you're overdoing it.
My eye. Plus, I'm in love with a bitch I can't stand.
I mean, TikTok. A lot of the white content creators on TikTok get all of their dances from the black content creators.
You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deep. You're a philosopher? Yes. You're a philosopher? Yes. I think very deep. You're a philosopher? You're a philosopher? I think 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 you're a philosopher? I think
Damn.
You got to pray to God and tell God your rent due. Any God. You got to pray to God and tell God your rent due. You got to pray to God and tell God your rent due. Any God that didn't know your rent was due ain't God. Damn white boys out there. Most of them is psychopaths and all that. They'll kill your mama's mama. And you
Decent white folk that still don't know they're racist.
What the hell you want here, hunky?
Don't call me Waddy. Nigga. I don't mean to be out of line. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be out of line.
What's all that?
Your lines are still open. Oh shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it?
Come with baggage, just ask Louis Vuitton.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that.
Bitch niggas, hoe niggas, rich niggas, broke bitch. I told niggas this was on, yeah, right.
I think we OD. I think we OD. I think we OD.
The Chinese platform, you already know they don't. The Chinese platform, you already know they don't give a fuck about your black ass.
My word, can't be my equal, don't know what you heard. That's the difference when you're my baby.
You got to pray.
Used to snort cocaine, now I fiend for the check, yeah. Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I hit the loot juice. It pulls up in the dude. Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come in. I hit the loot juice. It pulls up in the deuce. Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I hit the loot juice. It pulls up in the deuce. Baby, I'm a walking dead man, is what they call me when I come in. Got the
I guess you go to the history of European civilizations. 250 years is how long they last before they implode because of their greed, because of their violence, because of an inability to let others be, including themselves. If they didn't have brown and black people to hate, they would hate themselves.
Do that dance, baby, do that dance.
Slapping folks is satisfying. She don't like me, but I didn't know. Guess it was underlying.
Lean and walk, lean, walk, lean, walk.
To the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, above, below, and the middle. Greetings. This is Big Pontiac, and welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game that was created by the Hero Twins, and I am that one and only Galactic Daddy-O welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. I guess, let me find my spot. I guess that's what's happening. Yeah, what's happening tonight? I know everybody got their sports fixed for today. But I guess I should start off and say, because I'm assuming that people know who I am, I guess that's the least I can do for you is at least let you know who I am. So this is Flint Pontiac, formerly known as Big Pontiac, coming at you from the Chocolate Mountain Show. Now, the Chocolate Mountain, mountain is so huge, and so we have to settle down where we go. And I'm welcoming you to the Galactic Patio. Like I've said, I am the Galactic Daddy-O. Welcome to each and every one of you to this Galactic Patio that we're about to get it on. So thank you for coming. Oh, I'm really BSing, huh? Tell you what, for disposal purposes, I see why they're switching to the cans for the summer. Yeah, that's a lot more. And so it seems like you get more beer in the bottle, and it tastes a little better. But again, in the can. From Ohio, from Ohio, Great Lakes, Elliott Nest, Ambrosia. So pop them if you got them. Oh, and collectible Detroit Lion, Applebee's glass. So cheers for those that are with me. Man, got a lot done today. I mean, it really did. The girls really did some running around, had fun. My wife is so thankful and thoughtful, very thoughtful. And they end up, because 5 o'clock was my deadline, so I was only going to do some shit until 5 o'clock. And really, the game didn't come on, 5:10, 5:15. And this headline says it right here. It's they overwhelmed them. They overwhelmed. Clemson had nothing. I really like what they did because the first 4 or 5 possessions they went right to him. They went right to him to show that superiority already that they had nothing to do. And even though they kind of made a slight comeback in the beginning, you could just see that dominance, and the dominance was on both sides of the court, and almost to a man. I mean, almost to a man. 7-2. And Illinois again, a number 3 seed, not a bad team, but they beat them like they wasn't shit. And it says, steamrolled. They done beat everybody by plus 13. So this was a really, it was a blowout, but I like when they was, the teams you pick. This is who I picked to win it all. Amongst other teams, but I thought from day one, I was like, this is the one I think. Do they have vulnerabilities? They definitely do. But the best game by far was the second game. That game was much better. So it's gonna be tough, a tough break. But now remember, the games tomorrow come on a little earlier. I think in my time they come on around 1 or 2. Let's see. Oh, and I'm sorry. And here is my Luca Unicorn. I've been smoking on that off and on. Right now, I'm moving and grooving on these gummies. These Peak gummies. So smoke them if you want them. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. Yeah, it was a good game. That second game was a good game. They were back and forth. I mean, dude, what did dude hit 6 in a row? No, they hit Alabama hit 5 in a row at the end of the first half. Remember, Alabama had that slow start, and then they hit 5 in a row. And they had 2 dudes that made at least 5. 2 people that had at least 5. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. I mean, you're not gonna see that a lot. And so, but it was a good game, and they tried to do something very similar. You know, go right at Clemson were right at the big fella for Alabama, but Alabama role players played big. I mean, that guard, I mean, he hit what 6 or 7 or 8, and then that forward, I mean, he like when they went on that run in the first half where they hit 5 in a row. I mean, that was, you know, that brought them back into the game and showed them, and playing good defense too, and fell back from getting in foul trouble. So it was a good game. The second game was a good game too. Where is it? You know, nobody really follows the women as much. Purdue, no. Where are today's games? Oh, this is going to be the bracket. It's going to tell me. Okay, so tomorrow. So 1:20, that sounds about right. I think it's 1:20 my time the first game comes on. So yeah. 1:20 my time. Alabama and Clemson. I mean, at one point they was really going back and forth. But it was funny how they tried to get dominance inside, and Alabama beat their dominance with speed and quickness. I mean, they gave up some early ones, but you know their speed and quickness overall, to me, brought a big dominance. And again, it's what they had to make 11, 12 threes. Two dudes hit 5. I mean, you can kind of see that it's all on. My son called me. We were both philosophizing, you know, about the system and stuff. So, and we see the college system, and I mean, you can watch the shots. You can see like the one dude, number 15. Let me see when I see him on the highlight for Alabama that ended up making the 5 or 6. Remember, he shot an air ball at the top of the key, but he was pretty good at stopping shooting. But you can see that the one he shot from the top of the key, he really his feet weren't as set. And Jimmy Johnson kind of commented about that, or Jimmy Jackson. So I thought that was interesting. But that game was a lot more entertaining. So all right. That's my thing. All right. Okay, Al. Reborn Amaroon Khan, what's happening? Thank you for coming.
Got to have vision.
Researcher 2022. That guard from Alabama is like Brunson from the Knicks. That forward from Alabama couldn't be stopped. Yeah, let me see. What is his number? Now the one forward shooting the Jays, but the dude that was the most effective, their most effective scorer, he's not in on these highlights right here. But yeah, that forward 55 maybe was his number. Where is he in? Yeah, 55. They really had no answer for number 55. 55 made some like he made one. I think he was the first one to really score. And then like to kill their run, yeah, he made 2 critical early to keep them in the game early shots. So, but overall it was a good game. It was a good game overall. It was the other game was just a blowout. So, and the games come on early tomorrow, remember. And I tell you, a lot of things are going to be closed tomorrow, which is surprising. They've kind of treated it almost like Christmas. You know, a lot of the stores closing. Because I know Macy's is closed tomorrow. So it was a good game. It was a good game. You know, the amount of shots they made, the people who made them, it makes everybody It makes everybody like step back and look at it and say, wow, they're doing it again. And the floodgates are open for them. Because remember, just as they can turn them on, they can turn them off. And so it just happened to be for them. They gave them that extra help. And it's part of the game so much. And I heard, I want to repeat what I heard, and it's interesting. And I'm going to say that this ain't new. I heard some guys saying that, they look at AAU games and AAU teams now, and all of them are, just trying to have highlights, breakaway dunks and, shooting long jumpers and stuff. But I ran across a bunch of people that was doing that then, that was shooting long shots then too, even before. But, since, you keep in mind in high school basketball, the 3-point shot has been in probably 25 years, if not close to 30, at least 20 years. So, and so it's always been people that have done that. I ran into one young woman and her father, but her team, man, she was pulling. And this little girl must have made 14. I think that's what we counted. She made 14 threes one game I refed. And she was only in 8th grade, I think. She made 14 threes in 8th grade. And I mean, she was just pulling. And I mean, some of them, I was just like, this little girl was launching and her shot looked so good. Shit, she put that shit up one time and I just raised my hand. And my partner looked at me and I was standing like directly under the hoop. Because I could just see the way she shot it. I had already put my arms up. My partner kind of looked at me. Sure enough, that shit just went right through the basket. So I think it's always been part of the game. I don't think it's anything new that it's because Steph Curry highlighted it, and it made the game more accessible to people too. The shooting, because the game, the way it turned into is that like the wasted drafts of really like the '86 draft where everybody drafting them big centers because of the slow down game of wanting to feed somebody and then operating off of him. And then hoping, he can block shots and stuff. I mean, that game was slowly going to disappear as people became more athletic anyway. So, but as you see, when they want to put big guys back in, like they put Giannis back in, like they put Nordic back in, you see, they wanted to get rid of all the melanated, all the brothers in America, big dudes, kill their games, kill their need by the outside shooting. But then look what you do. You bring another dude that ain't a defender really at all. And that's the point Arenas makes this. He's right, is they bring in the Eurasian players and they're just not sound defensive players. Good offensive players, but not sound defensive players. So, and that can't really be debated. I mean, just watch the games if you watch the games. Yeah, so this game, man, I'm watching the highlights here. This game was a really good game today. I really enjoyed it. And I think, the games tomorrow are really going to be enjoyable too. Yeah, again, I think it's Tennessee, Purdue 120. Yep. And then North Carolina State, Duke at 4:05, which I think is my time too. Because I think the other one is 5, and I think it's 2:20. So I think this is Central Time. I have to double check if it's an hour ahead. I know we're going to my brother-in-law's. And that's just how it goes. That's all right. Family come together, have Easter dinner. That's how it goes. You can dig it. But that's all right. So yeah, those are the times. And, I'll come on tomorrow and talk about them again. And it's funny, like you really look at, as manipulation. One thing, both games, and even the blowout, is like the referees haven't been making, like they let, that second game, they let a lot go. I was just looking at the highlight. Remember when Alabama rebounded the ball and Clemson player like fouled him and then like grabbed the ball from him and the refs didn't call nothing. It was a lot of bumps. They was just letting go. They talked about it a little bit last night, saying how much more physical Stu Van Gundy was mentioning that last night, how physical they've let these college games be. And we saw that again today, that there was a lot of no calls, a lot of things going. There was bumps where a dude fell down and they just didn't call nothing. So hopefully it'll be called that again way tomorrow. They'll let him play a little more and then going into next week for sure. So beautiful day up here. We went out for a little while. Yeah, got some stuff done. Beautiful, beautiful day up here. And so, yeah, no complaining. And, my thing is to always go into the Great White North weather, and it's beautiful up here. I'll have to say, even right now, this room is comfortable. The heat's not coming on because it's a pretty standard, so it's 34 outside. And so the rest of the day, again, 45. The rest of the week, 45, 47, 48, 53, 58, 62. So I might get my ass up and hit these mornings, see if anybody playing pickleball. So we'll see. But yeah, so, it's nice up here. And it looks like, again, I am so thankful that the weather did give, the precipitation that we did give. I was thankful for it because you could see it. The land needs it, the land needs the water and the precipitation. All right, so we're going to get into morbid news. So this is part of the morbid news is Tim McGovern, visual effects veteran, Oscar winner for Total Recall. Wow, he wasn't much older than me, 68. Earned an Oscar in 1990, died in his sleep. He was 68. My husband, Tim McGovern, Oscar winner, 90s for Total Recall, several more awards. Passed away in his sleep. That's a good way to die, is in your sleep. 2 decades he served the boards. He was saddened and shocked by sudden news. Timely passing, Visual Effects Society. McGovern had numerous film credits. 82, Tron. Okay, he worked on Tron. And later, I'll say this. I'm not surprised if he worked on another show later because we saw that same Tron. Let me read further and see. He went on to become a founding member of Sony Pictures Imageworks, where he worked on such movies as Mission Impossible, Rogue, Dunkirk, Ant-Man, Men in Black, wow, and Jungle Cruise. Other credits: Last Action Hero, So I Married Axe Murder, that was funny. Look Who's Talking Now, As Good as It Gets, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. McGovern was bestowed a Special Achievement Oscars, work on Total Recall, won multiple. Okay. According to McGovern, was born in 55. Oh, okay. University of Illinois. All right. And graphic design. All right. So, so he didn't really win an Oscar. They bestowed an Oscar on him if you wrote it. Maybe you guys know this guy. This is another one to report on the morbid news. Generation V. I don't know what that is, but Chance Pedorma. Wow, he is very young. Very, very young. His passion for the arts, appetite for life. His death was a result. Okay, here it is. Pedro's death was a result of a motorcycle accident, his representation said. No one else was involved. Wow. Death was a result of a motorcycle accident. Wow. His passion for the arts and insatiable appetite for life felt all who knew him. Wow. We asked to respect the family. I don't know what he did, but wow, he apparently. Wow, that's a bad. I was listening to what's his name? Crawford. I was listening to Crawford talk about Jay Williams before he got hurt and how they were playing, and how, I guess Jalen Rose told him, he saw him riding the motorbike and he was like, man, you're not supposed to be riding that. I mean, Jalen Rose warned him, but he said he was really hooping before he got hurt. It's kind of a shame that he didn't get to, fulfill that. Now, what is this? Oh my goodness. This is funny. It's like this is just, makes you want to laugh. But not really. But this brother died. He was 48 years old. Chest pains. He was taken to a hospital despite the efforts. Couldn't be saved. So he looks like, it's very stereotypical what their heroes look like, you know. So I guess this is who he is, Indian heartthrob. So, and he really, do they count? Do they count as drinking from the beast cup? Do they really count? Because they didn't really make it to Hollywood, but I guess moving pictures is moving pictures, huh? I guess there's really no distinction between that. Not really. If you use it, you use it. And that's pretty much what it is. But yeah, got to sleep in a little bit today. That felt good. Then, got a little exercise in, not a lot, but a little bit. Working on that little pickleball paddle stuff. That's very helpful. I mean, I can see where my elbows without the brace are a little sore. And, getting a little walking in. Not a lot, but hopefully be more active this week. I hope so. At least I'm going to try to see how it goes. See if I can work out this week. And get that thing going, Get that thing going. No, I forgot about boxing. I did not. What's up, James Gant?
Got to have vision.
No, I watched Saturday Night Live, so I was waiting for Michael Che. So I know I didn't see it at all. Reed Roman, okay. Reed Roman, Clemson baseball player died today. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see if we can find that. Oh, okay. I guess that's right. I found him. Sad. Yeah, former Clemson baseball, Clemson Tiger baseball player passed away at 29. So here he is. And former outfielder died in Florida. According to he was 29. He died following a car accident. Oh, so sad. He began redshirting the Tigers as a freshman and through 14. Team which participated in Atlantic Division, ACC, left field. Okay, lucky to be. Wait a minute, that's him. Okay. Lucky to be on the unbelievable long list of whose lives were touched by Reed Roman. This man was one of the best humans. Earned 2 All-American honors in 15 and 16. Was a 339 hitter, 410 on base, and 170 games. Wow. That's a lot of games. Graduated in 17, degree in park and recreation and tourism. He was drafted by the Kings and he is 35. He played 3 seasons with the Royals. Wow. Okay, I'm sorry to hear about this. Thank you, James Gant. Thank you for that. And that goes into the Morbid News files. Yeah, you said read. Yeah, I found it. Thank you. The Zoo Fedora. He fought Rolly Mer. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't see it. Yeah, I went right to Saturday Night Live. Oh, I watched a couple minutes of the news, and then went right to Saturday Night Live. Travis Scott was on there. I don't know. I like what do you call it? Skits. I like skits. I think skits are funny. I think they're clever. It's like, I've told about my early shows I like where a lot of future stars was called SCTV. And, it had the father from American Pie. Of course, John Candy, the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I'm trying to think. This other guy, he played, what was her name? Brit. That Brit lady, that got hooked on, she was hooked on some kind of pills, but this guy ended up being his show. But I'm trying to think of the other guys. But that's, I love that kind of stuff, the SCTV. Then there's another show, very few people probably remember, Wacko, which probably came out of Canada too, because the Wacko star was also on Hee Haw. Later, he went on Hee Haw later. So I like skits, and I've watched Saturday Night Live from Richard Pryor being on the first one. That was big news. Like when Richard Pryor was on that first one, and they do that skit about the Exorcist, and Richard Pryor like, the bed is on my foot. The bed is on my foot. And then the chick talked about his mama, and then that's when they started choking her. He's like, what you say about my mama? And they started making the eyes. I mean, just brilliance, just brilliance that you could do on live TV. And like I should download the part where him and Chevy Chase, when he's interviewing for a job and they're calling each other, Spear Chucker and Peckerwood and stuff like that, going back and forth. That's pretty brilliant too on both of their parts. Just brilliant wordplay. And I think that's clever, to be able to, do that wordplay and make it humorous, yet, what was the word of it? Humorous, but yet cutting edge at the same time. Because remember, I think the first person that said nigga on national television was Red Fox. And he did it quite often. And remember, I think the first time Red Fox said it, there's enough niggas in here to make a Tarzan movie, when he was talking about LA federal courts. I think that's the first time. So he was the first one. So, one of us was the first one to actually say nigga on national television. Now, I don't know, you think that's right or wrong, but that's what it was. That's what it is. And he said, after that, he said it at one time, he said it several times, but then that was funny. He was making a point. This is how we talk to each other. Oh, that's all. It's funny, they showing the Moses show today. I think they were showing the Moses show on Netflix. So, if you're into all that, that's what, energy you tap into. Nothing negative to say. Nothing negative to say anybody. However you receive love, if that's how you look at it. If something that's what you love and you feel it in your heart. I'm not down on anybody. I'm not really for that. Get a chance to interact with family and friends and loved ones. That's cool too. I don't have no problem with that. Like games, the days like tomorrow, I would rather sit at home and watch the games and then do something, but, you have to give up some comforts to, just love the families. That's all. That's all. And celebrate with the family. And there's, no harm in that. I see no harm in that whatsoever. So, yeah. And today was just a beautiful day to spend with them. They got to spend a lot of time. I guess they picked up my mother and hung out even more. And so tomorrow, as I was mentioning, we're all getting together again tomorrow. And, call it what you want, but we're all gathering together, going to be together. So, of times past, again, probably the earliest holiday I remember, there was once a picture of me on that holiday I had spent with my great grandparents. And I probably was 3. And I remember I spent the time with my great grandparents. They dressed me. My mother came over and maybe she changed me from pajamas to clothes. But I had spent the night with my grandparents, my great grandparents. And I remember she told my dad to go get me a hat. And we went to get a hat, and I don't really remember. I remember going to get the hat, and there was a picture one time of me with the hat. And yeah, that's all that day I remember. Where we went, what we did, I don't really remember. I don't really remember. But, it's always been a time where you dress up and just I think I told last night or night before, people getting together and, seeing the crackhead people, the addicts, run up and, trying to get that, the forgiveness on that one day. And it just tells you, the individual fight of anyone with addiction, and how desperate people will to try to help themselves to get off addiction. And what we see a lot of times is people will trade the religion, the addiction. They have to acquire the religion. It's like they have to have something that replaces all the activity it took of acquiring crack. And so they have to fill that time with something. So that's what we see sometimes. But, again, whatever you celebrate, enjoy your family. Yeah, I read about that yesterday. Find the oh yeah. This is I caught this. I don't know if you guys caught this. This is where my wife went to college, Minnesota State, Mankato. Kelsey Williamberg, a 3-pointer, was second remaining as Minnesota State beat Nova Southwestern 88 to win the first Division II championship at the Ford Center. Minnesota State became just the 3rd school in any division to win both men and women's championship in the same season. The women beat Texas Women's University 89-73. Connecticut accomplished the feat twice in Division I level, doing so in 2004 and 14. Central Missouri won both D1 titles in 84. Winning half shot came after Mavericks blew a 13-point lead in the final 10 minutes. Dylan Peters had 19 points of 9 and 10 shooting to lead the Mavericks, who won in their final 16 games of the season. Total 17 points, 6 rebounds. Kelsey, other brother, Malik, as well as reserve Harrison, each scored 12, added 5 rebounds. So this is over. Oh, they were at the Williams. They were at the Williams. I think they'll show the shot he hit. This is them winning it. So they packed the place. This Division II championship for men. The place is packed. It's an old place, but it's packed. I thought they was going to show his shot, and they didn't. They didn't show his shot. So, yeah, Minnesota basketball. Right the fuck on. Division II. I read this earlier. Yeah, right on. Right the fuck on. Now, right here, so 305, because right here it says 405. Isn't that what I got? 105, 405. So, where'd it go? I guess you can vote on it. So, yeah, I was seeing if because I saw his shot earlier. He hit a shot earlier. So, congratulations. Tell you, Minnesota basketball, it's telling these players is some of these colleges need to come up here and get these guys. I guess I said before the big fella from Wayzata is going to Creighton. He's 6'9", and he'll be attending Creighton next year. So they're getting a good player from this area. A lot of good guys from this area. And it's interesting. It's just like my nephew is now just going to junior college and still working out, staying in shape. So there's not other. I mean, other than him, there's really no young men that My son, he just plays for recreation. It's cardio. He plays. But I told him I'll start working with him. We'll try to put his big ass in a junior college because we know somebody got a team and shit. Work. Work. He can do it all. Work and go to school and hoop. There's some people that would be behind that. So, never know. Never know. Teach him how to have a little more fun anyway, if nothing else. Just teach him how to have more fun. Because I know those of you that like really hoop and kept hooping, like as you got older, really kept hooping. And you know who you are out there. The people that really just kept hooping and kept playing. You know where you were when you kind of lined up against people. I mean, you saw people that were storms. Like, again, as an older guy, I really would see guys. I mean, again, I watched Rashad Leonard score, 80 something. So, dudes can play, So, but, even just in your own experience, you could tell, there was different levels of different play. Like one thing that, when I played semi-pro in the Battle Creek teams, when we would go to state, the guys would really get uptight. Like we'd go play and they'd get so uptight where me, it didn't matter. I'm wherever they from, I'm bringing it to them. Kebab Baharam. Is that how you say it? Kanab Banaral. Thank you for coming. I hope I said that right.
Got to have
You mentioned if
vision.
there was a hard hit, it can manipulate. Can you tell me what a hard hit means? If there's a hard hit, it can manipulate. I think you mean in the sound. Yeah, I think if you mean in the sound of, as I said before, it's been obvious. Well, going back really, if we go back to, I think it's 87, Georgetown, it's Villanova, right? With Jensen, yeah, Georgetown, Villanova. That's the first time we really saw the system in full effect, where we saw Villanova shoot 70%, 71%, I think, as a team. Scott Jensen, again, a nobody, hit 7 threes and was the difference really of the game so this is where we see that college system fully operating. We saw Jordan do it, I think, 88 or 89. Jordan, they highlighted the NBA system when Jordan hit the 7 threes. And I remember, I think on my old channel, I really broke, again, they like bragging on their shit. And I was really breaking down because they showed a lot of those, and you can see. Now, getting to your point, I was just trying to, show you where we are historically. So getting to where it is that the college system has always been not quite the same system as the pro system. Just from the sounding perspective. Because just like when you're at a game, the hoops don't sound the same. There's not the same sound off the college hoops as you generally see of an NBA hoop. Now again, where they play college games and stuff, they can swap baskets. I can't tell you. There's a million possibilities. Yes, I understand that. But what it appears like when the games are in effect, there's two distinctive sounds. And as I've talked about the other night, one thing that's always been more active in the pro game is the use of the net with the manipulation. The net has, we go back to Steph's years, has definitely a part in, and I was saying, the way the swish is. Now, to your specific question, there is a different sound when they actually activate a ball, especially a ball that's not bouncing. There's a different sound when that ball that they've had to hone in the magnets, keep it in there. That is a different sound in college compared to the pro sound. The pro sound isn't as loud, even live. It's not as loud as that that you hear when they help it. And that's the best way I can explain it. Because NBA shots, you can a lot of times see as well as hear. And then a swish shot, the way they can, wisp it in where it just perfectly wisps. I mean, it's like they perfectly make a U with it. I mean, it's interesting. If you look at the way they've turned that swish in and activated that net more too. And I think, that study has really been the last 4 or 5 years. But that goes back to Jerry West's shot showing the net moving. Actually, you've seen the net reacting to the incoming shot. That's what you see on, I think that's the third manipulated shot in the history. You see the net actually activating before the ball gets there. So we know that the nets have always had a part to it. So, but it's a different sound when they help it go in, especially the threes. And the telltale signs is today we saw a couple where, they shot the ball back up and it's like held it in and then the ball drops in where it looked like the balls was coming out. So that's the best way I can explain it. Yeah, it sounds different. The pros, the sound is not as it's a solid, what you hear in the pros is a solid, like a solid noise when the ball goes in. But it's not as the college. You don't hear that boom boom. Like in college, it's pretty significant. It's a boom boom. And the pros, it's like tsh. It's more like a tsh. It's harder than that. It's like a light boom. So it's a different sound. That's all. Oh yeah. You can and yeah, you see live. Yeah, you can tell the ones manipulated definitely live because you get the angles. That's why I always like sitting on when I would go to the target center, I'd get under the basket and be under certain angles because you can see the angles too. You can see the angles because that's what I want to see. I want to see where the drop is and so even when I went to the high school game, not this past season, if you go back to those videos, I'm taping the ceiling, I'm taping all that stuff to kind of try to see how they would do it if it was me, how I would hook up things to do it. So when I'm in I go in to the target center, I'm looking at all that. Same thing when, I go at the U.S. Bank too to see how, because it's it's not a similar system, but it's obvious that there's a type of system manipulates the field goals too. Like the one guy, to make it hit 5 times in a row, could it do that? Absolutely. But it'd be easier. We see, like one thing that we know about sports and we know about repetition is, and if I'm going to compare putting to kicking a field goal, it is almost identical in the concentration, the angle, the push. And so my point is, dudes know when they make their putts, and we've witnessed field goal kicks missing, and you can see in their face that they're just like, what are you doing? Like, how did I miss that? There's no way. You can see in their face, it's like, because they know the way they hit it, that they hit it right. Like even there's a sound when they kick that football, and they just know that they hear that and thump, and they know, and then that some kind of way we see them veered away, and a lot of times veered to hit the, and it can hit the crossbars and bounce in too. So, but but yeah, it looks like next weekend is gonna be really fun. The games tomorrow are gonna be hyped, so I'm gonna get up a little early. I'm not gonna go as long. Yeah, good. I'm about an hour in, so wow. But yeah, so that's it. Yeah, definitely you can see the manipulation live. And I mean, like it's like it's hard for them to say it's not electronically controlled. I mean, there's a million electronics in that thing. I mean, I have pictures back from oh man, how long ago is that? Like when Garnett, like when Garnett was playing, I would, I got good seats, and so I got a million pictures because I sat behind the bench of the away team, so I'm near the basket. And just taking pictures, and then taking pictures this past season and seeing how they've changed it. Now, I'll tell you, like this is another way you can see that I don't think they purposely, maybe not, but I don't think they purposely manipulated in this way. What I've noticed about high schools is high schools' heating systems play a part on shots. I mean, I just pay attention to that. I look at the way it's done, and I look at it's like and to back off to back my point of my week, my thesis is the research, and the research is this. Like I would notice, it was like my nephew's team would shoot horrible the first half, but from say the left side where the other team was shooting, the other team was shooting good from that left side. Then they switch at halftime. My nephew's team was shooting good from that spot, from that side of the court. And the only thing that was common was the way the heat was coming out. So this is something that affected it, but didn't. You see, it was nothing, no sense to affect it. But as I'm going from school to school to school, you can see that the force of the heat is affecting the shots. It's interesting. It's interesting, and from what I've only seen is like one side is affected. I haven't seen where both sides, but I've been in a couple of gyms where it's like one side you can see, and the only thing you can get in there is like what's different between both of these sides, where both teams shoot better from one end, and it's the heat. Oh, here's some boxing. Okay. Here's some boxing. Sebastian Fundora upset Tim Zhu to win junior middleweight. Damn, I'm going to have to look that one up when I get off. So you know a lot. Thanks. Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for coming in. Sebastian Fundora upsets. Okay. So this cat won. Yeah, I missed it. I like Saturday Night Live, but I have to look this back up. One of the Blaze fights in recent memory scored an upset with a split decision over Tim Zhu. Captured WBC and WBO. Wow. 116, 112, 116, 112. Whoa. Okay. He pulled out a draw. Nicknamed the Towering Inferno. 6'5". They're fighting at 154. Okay, 6'5" at 154. Wow. How much power does he have at that size? Oh, Keith Thurman pulled out of it 11 days. Man, he only had 11 days? Woo. Federer suffered a 7th round knockout loss, so he got knocked out. Seemed to change when Zhu suffered a deep gash in round 2. Damn. Such an accident was more likely than usual, given the 9-inch height difference. Okay. Never stopped. Okay. Shit. Any pictures of the blood? No. So, okay, I missed that one. I have to look that one up. It's just, Saturday Night Live and watching ball. But definitely watching anything. Man, the new movies all look good and sound good on my TV, so I watch any of that stuff. Boom, boom, boom. I like that stuff. I can't say I watch more TV than usual. I don't watch TV live. Like my thing with TV is like live is I think the best thing to watch is something live. I really don't have a lot of interest in things that aren't live. I mean, I'm having more interest because of the TV and the sound bar and everything. I'm having more interest. So yeah, but I like watching live things. And to me, I would rather watch something live than watching something recorded. So it doesn't matter if it's hockey, if it's racing. Live to me takes over precedent than recorded. So, oh, PJ Allen, you got elbows. Zoo, you got elbow. PJ Allen, what's happening? And I have never have to ask him about his.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
I know he controls his bitches. Welcome, brother. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed the games today. But I was watching The Flash again, and that shit on the colors and stuff, man. It is amazing, as my mother would say. Man, I saw some stuff where already they trying to get rid of the king. This bug ain't been king but a minute. They talk about he got 2 years to live. Did anybody else hear that? 2 years to live. The king gets, that's some bold shit. They's like, finally, mother lets me be king, you old bird. And then he's like king for a couple months, and they tell him, well, you got cancer, and and they've had cancer in their family. I mean, I think Queen Elizabeth's father died of smoking cigarettes with cancer. So I don't know if that goes through the family, but Magical Bass season. Okay, must be A&T's women. Yeah, I think A&T's women is in the IIT. I don't think the men are. You seen the trailer, The Penguin? Nah, trailer, The Penguin. No, I seen the monkey man, whatever that is, about the Indian cat, the Indian John Wick, they calling it. I saw that one. If the games, maybe tomorrow, tomorrow afternoon, I might end up going to see Godzilla. Talk everybody to go see Godzilla. So that's what I might do. So we'll see. I mean, it's, my daughter's like, you seen one guy, Gilgris Alexander. Okay, I keep forgetting his name. Gilgris Alexander. I'll tell you one great thing about the Cars where most people listen to their most music. No problem, sir. I find it strange Alabama is in the Final Four. Well, yeah, and the history of Alabama in the first time is interesting. That is really interesting. The history that, and again, this is something that the coaches created. And, I've never heard of a outstanding Alabama player back in the 60s invited to the NIT. So their program, again, football school, their program, it was shadowed by football. Like, what I mean, this is what's interesting. Like, look, you take Notre Dame Stadium hold about 80,000 people. Their college arenas broke down into, like, if I remember right, like 2 buildings, maybe 3. I think it's 3 buildings. 3 buildings. One building they play hockey in. One building they put all the courts for tournaments, and the other building is where they play their games in. So, and it only holds about 10,000 people. I have watched North Carolina State, but I already put Duke into the Final Four. There was one of my Final Four teams. But I think the other night, what did I do the other night? The other night, I think I really went back to North Carolina State. I don't know. No, I think I said I stayed with Duke. No, I stayed with Duke. I got UConn winning it all still, but I think I still stand with Duke to beat them. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because they did beat them, and they like, historically they like North Carolina State. When they go on these runs, they really like them. They like them as a team to upset people. They are the lowest seed left. So I don't know. I think a school that they've already played probably at least twice, if not 3 times already. Because, again, they beat them a week or 2 ago. They beat them. And they sound too much like that team that Valvano had in 83 with Derek Wittenberg and Cindy Lowe. Sounds too much like that again. So, And so, when it sounds like that, makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. But I just wonder, like right now, they're preparing everybody. They're saying hide your pets from, when what is it called? The eclipse comes, hide your pets. Again, if my son has time, which I think he will, we're gonna drive over to the mound, weather permitting. It should be fairly dry, and try to raise some vibrations over there for sure. So we would definitely do that, I think, and maybe even go live with that. So get that together for y'all, and so whatever you do and however you feel. Um, and I guess this one's going to have a 0 point this year. There's one spot that the way the eclipse hits, it's going to hit that one spot, a little more energy. And, there's some people that follow that, try to, follow that energy across the country or be immersed as much of it as they can. And a lot of that can be very helpful, to follow and you chart it. And then again, you can set up so many different ways to absorb energy. I mean, crystal grids are really interesting just because it's your interpretation of how you want energy to move to you or just even in your space. And there's so many alternative ways to do that. James, they beat them down. Yeah, that's what I think they're going to win. I definitely think UConn looks better this year than they did last year. I think they're deeper. I think they're the deepest team coming in. At least that's what it appears like. They are by far the deepest team. So, that was who I picked from jump to repeat. And then they're the first one since Florida, when they won back-to-back years. That Billy Donovan's team, Billy Donovan's team. Noah, Mike, whatever Mike's name was, Mike Miller, those teams won back-to-back. I think that was the last team that went back-to-back. Oh man. This is a little bit of, since I've been in an hour, I'm gonna show you a little bit of debauchery. Oops. Wait till the commercial ends. And this is local. And this is like really fucked up and sad. So let them tell it.
Joins us from the newsroom after speaking with a family that lives just feet away from where this happened. Babs?
Yeah, Karen, today a mother with sons said this shooting is now all her sons are thinking about, even making them have a hard time sleep because of what they saw.
They said the little boy got shot in the eye.
An 11-year-old boy is in critical condition, fighting for his life at Gillette Children's Hospital after he was shot in the head Friday night. St. Paul police believe a 13-year-old girl is responsible. After a search, law enforcement found her nearby on Charles Avenue. Also in custody, a 34-year-old St. Paul man arrested for negligent storage of a firearm and possession of a firearm by an ineligible. Police recovered 2 handguns from these apartments on Pierce Butler Route, all just after neighbor Angelica Amos said she'd just fallen asleep.
They woke me up and said, Mom, I think somebody got shot in our building.
A mother with 3 sons under 10 years old, Angelica hopes her boys will never again have to see anything like what they saw this weekend.
The whole hallway is filled with people. The neighbor is crying. My son said, Mom, I seen a body laying in the hallway. My younger son said it was a big boom and then a whole bunch of screaming.
Now her family is praying for the young boy who they say was shot across the hall on the building's 3rd floor.
I think it was an accident. I don't think anything was intentionally. I think it was some kids playing with a gun. She probably was scared. I pray for her too because she was a little girl too. That happens so much in the black community.
You gotta lock the guns away. You got to lock the guns away. You got to be responsible. Definitely something that can be avoided. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. If you're at the house, put locks in them. You know, it's easy to put locks on them. If you know, it's like when children are around, you've got to always think about them guns if you don't have a safe. So, yeah. Very tragic, but yet avoidable story. I remember I came across that. That story was that was something that's avoidable. And like I was just looking at the book, Poor White Trash, and it talks about the same thing as how, you know, a lot of the people that did suicide around 14, 15, you know, was their access to guns. In states where, you know, guns were a priority, readily made available. Now we know in you know, the melanated communities, we know that, you know, guns were just as we saw right after with the cocaine crisis. We know that again in South Central, one thing that Gary Webb talked about is guns being left in a tractor trailer. It was just abandoned, and after about a month or two, people finally started going in it, and it was full of guns. And then we have multiple stories of Californians saying the same thing around the train tracks. And then again, we hear stories, you know, in Chicago, the same kind of stories. It's guns and train tracks and barrels, you know, near train tracks. I'm like, who's doing this? You know, who's just leaving guns like that readily available? But yet we hear stories again, you know, different sides of the country that appear to be true, because the stories are too similar to disprove. And we know Gary Webb talked about this very thing. And, you know, militarizing areas, saturating them. That's like even with switches, you know, switches are something that, again, you know, that came later. And then we see that all of a sudden everybody had access to them. Come on, there's always a push for things like these, especially when you're talking about technology. You know, it comes from a higher place. When it has access like this, you see it's pushed out there by something that's not really natural. When you start seeing access to these things, so, and then, you know, to bring the problem, but it's again, you know, how did access become involved is the question. So that's all, y'all. That's all. So, but yeah, that's just a little bit of debauchery, local debauchery. I don't think it's a whole bunch, and that's good, you know. That's good. Oh, okay. Because I saw the St. Paul Saints, because we have a AAA baseball team up here called the St. Paul Saints, and literally, you know, again, it's AAA. So the Dodger players rehab here, you know, and across the river. So I know the Saints were not yesterday. It looks like they were able to play their game today. So, and other than that, Taylor Swift is coming here or what? I don't know. Oh, yeah. The Timberwolves are not for sale. I wonder in this Timberwolf thing, are the monies returned or do they just don't get controlling interests? Because at some point they do have own right now a hefty interest. So I don't think that goes away. Now, as everybody's trying to pile on Alex Rodriguez, you know, because a lot of people seem to bail on him, is what it seemed like. And that's what I reported, that a lot of people bailed on him that said that, you know, they were interested. And then, you know, averted funds away from this company, you know, into something else, you know, undermining him. Like, it makes no sense. You know, this is a major stage, and, you know, like major money's already put out there. And so that's why I'm looking back, and I know they already own a percentage of it. Oh, is our car show started? You know, I don't think I'm going to go to the car show this year. I went last year, and like no prototypes. Jeep is not going to do their little thing where you can drive the cars up the hill and shit. They're not bringing that. So, yeah, the non-prototypes. That's what I liked about Detroit and the Chicago Auto Show in the 90s and 80s, 90s. in early 2000s is, seeing the new stuff that's coming up. That old Impala body, like the body that the caddies had in the late 90s, that Impala body, I remember seeing that, and it was originally on a Cadillac as a concept. And then it came out the Impala, but I always liked that body. And even when they made, the sedan DeVille's out of that body, because it's basically like that. I mean, they also made the what was it? The Park, not land. What was it? Not the Park Avenue, but they what was that big Buick called? Roadmaster. They also made a Roadmaster out of that big body. They used it for several things. Remember, it was a cab for years. But I remember first time seeing that, I was on a caddy body, that prototype, and I loved it even then. Again, you get those cars now and just twerk those you twerk those North Star engines. You take those screws out, update the engine. Those cars can run pretty good for you. And it's funny, cars in a way, some cars are definitely lasting longer and longer. I read a couple articles about cars lasting. A car just went over 1 million miles. I think it was a Mercedes Benz that went over 1 million miles, like a late 70s. And just, it tells us the simple things that you do to the cars, where cars run. I mean, guys have always taken like these old clunkers over from here that can be worked on in other places and taken them. I mean, look at what Cuba did with their cars. They were cut off of American technology, American supplier parts. So what did they do? Reversed engineered everything, and they kept those cars running. The poor weren't able to import cars, but they were able to reverse engineer parts. And those cars, those 50s and 60s cars, especially those 50s cars, still running down there. So that's that's reverse engineering is and that's what they said. Like when Lexus first came into the market, they looked at what everybody else was doing. They tore all those cars apart, because I remember seeing the pictures of it when I was in quality, and I remember seeing those pictures how it was laid out, and they every part they looked after. Their departments, their engineers, they looked at all what made these cars successful, and and now it's like the Japanese cars, their reliance, and trucks, American trucks too. Most American pickup trucks are keeping their value, which is interesting. So that seems to be the market. Oh, I got Purdue. I'm going Big Ten. I got Purdue, James. Hey, Nicole B, thank you for joining. Yeah, I got Purdue in that.
You got to have vision.
Yeah, I got Purdue. Definitely. But thank you, Nicole B. I appreciate you coming to the Galactic Patio. So yeah, it's not a whole lot going on here. Dang, it says it says a Barbie found in Wisconsin sells for over $1 million. I guess you can find, sometimes you can find anything. Oh, excuse me. But I think the weather is really, going to be fall going into again April. They say April showers brings May flowers. Oh, and it was funny. A lot of the teams was wearing, like, I know the last game, both teams. I know Clemson was wearing Kobe's, the reverse Grinches. That was interesting. So it's kind of interesting to see the shoes the players wear. They don't wear like it's like they don't wear. I don't know. To me, the better shoes. That's what I was looking at. I was noticing some of those schools have, like, to me, Kobe's. I don't know if Kobe's, even with insoles, I don't know if there's better technology now than Kobe's. out of Nike if it was up to me. Now, again, they'll make insoles for everybody, and you can pretty much make any shoe work when you have custom insoles. I won't deny that. I won't deny that at all. So, but just as a player, to me, it'd be like, nah. And again, they probably playing new shoes every game, which you should, shoot around in them, and then, uh, and I know a lot of people, don't even remember what, the old thing was when you got a new pair of shoes, it made you feel like you could jump higher and run faster. I mean, if you catch some of Michael Jordan's, because he was one of the first players that was doing that, was wearing new shoes every games. What's his name? Randy. Randy played with the Bulls. Randy Brewer. Randy Brewer that plays with the Bulls, where my daughter went to daycare. I've told this story before. I had met Randy through my friend that was a Globetrotter. And you can look up a million pictures of Michael Jordan dunking on Randy Brewer. Randy Brewer was about 7'4", but went to Minnesota. And so I met him through Tyrone. Anyway, I noticed I picked up my daughter, went to the church. I can't remember, but I remember I had got out of my car, which was rare because most of the time, the only time I got out of my car, I had the daddy wagon. And the daddy wagon, I had 2 car seats in the very back and then 3 car seats front. So, I had 5 car seats. So I had to kind of get out to put children in. But I noticed, I saw him and noticed him. And he had one of the original pumps. He had the original pumps. And I'm like, man, what's up? And I was like, man, I know you from somewhere. And I was like, you're Randy. And he's like, yeah, I'm Randy. And Randy said that they got 50 pair of shoes. So he didn't play in new shoes all the time. Because back then it was 85 games. But he said he got 50 pair. So Jordan kind of changed. It's like, nah, I need a new pair of shoes every game. And that's pretty much the standard. Again, new insoles in the shoes too. Your same insoles. So, but yeah, I'm definitely Big Ten. The Gophers is up here. I am definitely pushing Big Ten. You can bet that. Bet that, y'all. Oh my goodness. I'm having so much fun though. The wonderful world of sneaker and dress and design and collection is really cool. Really cool. Really cool. And just being thankful every day, thankful to be able to do the small things I do. Just humbled, humbled. Like when you guys come on and interact and make comments, I'm so humbled because it's cool, I'm sorry, Discord. I don't know. I know how to get onto my phone. I don't know how to quite get it working. So I tried to call the Divine One. Yeah, I think. I tried to call her. So me and her are going to get together. And I got to get together and practice. But didn't get a call back from my son. So I was expecting some information. He said, I don't know on Google. Okay. Yeah, somewhere out there. So, but I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. No doubt. Women's basketball games been good. Yes, they have. It's funny. They was showing something on Saturday Night Live about bars was only going to show the female games. I don't see where in sports bars that's a problem. Most sports bars got 15, 20 TVs. It's like there's no problem. There's something for everybody. So, I don't see anybody that would have a problem in any sports bar because all the sports bars are, multiple televisions. So it's got something for everybody. Like one thing that they did a bonus is like if I like watching the multi screens, when they was having the 2 games going on one, they slipped the women's game as the 3rd game. So they did that a few days, and again, when it was just all 3 women games, you could do that. Which I kind of like that. In the NFL, I'm really gonna like that. When they go multi-game and when the NFL starts, I'm really gonna like that. And then remember, I think also this weekend the UFL starts. I think it starts Sunday, the new football league. So look out for that too. The combination UFL, USFL, and the XFL, and multi other leagues that gives people just more chance to play. Surprisingly, I found out that there's still a lot of cats that play in Europe. So Europe still has a market for pro football. Oh, it's Catlin versus they playing again. Okay, I versus LSU. All right, I have to check that one out. Yeah, because they played in the finals last year, and she made fun of people. But it's all fun and games. Chick didn't take nothing wrong with it. It's like you got the best of me, so I'm picking Catlin. It's funny, like I was showing you Williams Arena. I knew she was coming in a couple of weeks, and I could have got tickets, but like where I saw it set, it was like the tickets was $300. I was like, hell no, not just to see that chick. They said that shit was standing room only, 15,000 people. They packed in that place, so they made a bunch of money off that chick. That's why I'm surprised she's not staying. I mean, she'll make more money in college than you do pro, but maybe, something being on campus and wanting to move on. I don't know. We all have our own thing. That's all. And what we like. Everybody do what you like. Do what you like. I see guys and girls dancing. Ew. I want the bomb. I want the P-Funk. I don't want my funk stepped on. And it is. It's like, what do they say? Assalamu alaikum. Peace to us all. Peace be upon us. May the God in us shine. That's what it is. May you turn on the God in you. And may people see the God that's in you, the good that's in you, the balance that's in you. That's what people want, consistency. And I guess, I think that's one of the hardest things. No, I'll take that back. I guess that's one of the biggest things that I did without having to try hard to do it. I showed that giving the right circumstances, I could be totally consistent. Yeah. Totally consistent, reliable, You can say, well, old motherfucker, you should be. But that's all part of it. Predictable. People like that you're predictable. That's all. And consistency. And that takes it all. That takes the cake of all of it. So, when you have children, that's what it's asking for. They ask you that you come in their life and just be consistent, however, what part you can play. Just be consistent at it. Because children, need reliable people in their life. They do. And as a child, that grew up in a two-parent household, even though it was my stepfather that lived with me, it's still. I think it made me, made me want to have that for my children the best I could. The times I was able to live with my children and their mothers. Mothers. To give them, to want everybody to be at the eat together at the table at the same time. My children were small. That to me was important. When my daughter was little, we put her in the car in the high chair, and we all sit around every day for dinner. Weekend it'd be breakfast and dinner. Weekend was get some cereal, or if we got eggs, bacon, pancakes, all that. But for the most part, we'd always sit and have dinner together. Baby would be, sitting there all with us. And I thought that was important. Like tonight, I ate in front of the TV, and with my TV tray, my wife and my daughter, they ate at the table together. And they were facing the TV, so I was forced to sit, So, but there's just family habits and those kind of things that may not seem important, but they are. They are important to children. It's important to children's perception of family. That children still see an example of family. The young people still see an example of family. Because what you have to understand is, like, really, when you get married, you create a type of timeline of families, especially if you're serious about it. It really becomes a timeline where people measure, well, they got married then and this happened after. Because it becomes part of history, not just somebody you used to know. But that's what, modern society wants. You got to have a job if you want to be with me. Ain't nothing going on but the rent. And it's like, what's so fucked up is, like, when they make it a doggy dog world. And I was talking about, when people had to scramble for $5 an hour jobs in these factories that at one time had been $50 an hour plus. Now these same jobs is $5 an hour. I mean, this is how they strangling everybody. And the competition, they make the competition for these kind of BS jobs. And so, what do you think real men that are real ingenuity and seeing, that spending their day making $40 a day is not going to pay people, So what did they think was going to happen? And not just, it just made people have to do whatever you had to do. Like I said, I had a friend, this dude, he was I think he cleaned hotel. He was either a cook at the hotel or he was a janitor, clean rooms at the hotel. I don't quite remember, but he did, he was one of my guards at a building I had a contract with, and he also worked at the hotel. So he would so the hotel was like behind us. So he would walk, back, and he would go back to back. Leave that place, come right over. I'd give him some food. I'd usually have some food with him, waiting for him, because I knew he worked hard. He ain't had to do nothing. I mean, letting people in and out. There's no real job. He's just sitting there. But still, that was his hustle and his way of making it. Vietnam vet, too, at that. And I couldn't pay him very much. When I paid him, it wasn't, great. Again, the contract is, determined on what they accept the bid at. You make the bid at so much, and that tells you how much the people are going to pay for you to make a little bit. It's like pretty simple. You throw some numbers out there and they take the numbers, okay, and this is, that it's pretty much set. But again, people do what they want to do. And, I was just thinking, I was getting done the other morning, and, I was just wondering, should I drink a beer at 5 in the morning or something? And I just, I think of a guy that's probably, I'm sure he died many, many years ago that worked for me. And I've told his story probably more than enough. But still, it just makes you wonder, like how was his life so bad that what he had to do to himself? And like this guy, I had a contract with the welfare office. And this guy, like what his afternoon habit was, he opened for me. So he had to be there something like 5:30 every day. So he probably got off at 1:30 or 2:30. I don't quite remember, but somewhere early because he opened the building up. But this dude was like the kind of drunk where when he got off at, say, 2:30, if you saw this nigga in the hour after that, he would be drunk somewhere. And he would get drunk literally until it was time for him to come to work again. I mean, that was just his life. People was complaining, it's like his breath and stuff. I'm like, Mickey, you can't quit drinking. You got to be here at 5:30. You can't quit drinking at 5 and then just come on in and brush your teeth. People looking at you, you look at you, you know. And I've told the story before where we was getting complaints because there was a men's place next door where niggas had to live, men that was homeless. And there was this particular Vietnam vet, and what the vets would do is come over to the welfare office and go in the bathroom and kind of wash up. because there's so many people at the other place. And so finally, we had to tell him, look, guys, this ain't for that. You can't be in here like that. So, he saw the guy go in there, and the guy, he went in there and say, look, dude, you can't come in here and clean up. There's been too many complaints. I know you from next door. You got to leave. So he's following the dude out of the bathroom. So, he's just thinking that he's going to walk the dude out the building. And the dude just turns around and just smacks my guard. He smacks his name was Mickey, I think. Now, Mickey, again, was probably drunk. It's early in the morning. Mickey had just probably drank. And he said he smacked him, knocked him down. And the people that reported to me, and he kind of says, dude had his head like this, would pound his head to the ground. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. You do a security, and you just don't expect somebody to turn around and pop you. Oh, excuse me, to pop you, and then bang your head on the ground. I mean, that's just not what you see. And I remember even some women told me the same thing because he told me what happened to him. Oh, and I still laugh. But it's again, if he wouldn't have been drinking all night, he might have been able to react a little quicker. Oh. I felt that coming. So that's probably the funniest. And I doubt Mickey was with us. But what was funny is I saw Mickey's woman one time, and she was like just as much as a drunk as he was. I mean, there was a rumor about this one chick, and I only saw her a few times, and they was like, if you bought her a double deuce or a 40 ounce, she would blow you off or, let you rock up in there. Can you imagine? All you got to do is come in there with a 40 or a double deuce. Hey, Betty, here's your double deuce. That's a pretty cheap price, ain't it? I heard she always stayed busy. I don't know. I don't personally know. And I don't know how, I was told all this secondhand, dude. Because I saw her and I was describing her. Dude was like, oh, that's so-and-so. Her name was something like Double Deuce or something. Or there was some kind of rhyme, buy her a 40, she'll give you a sortie or some shit like that. I forget what the rhyme was about the bitch. I'd never take the jab. What's happening?
Got to have vision.
Okay, Nicole says, same here. Always try to eat dinner together. I guess that's why I've been up making this red velvet cake for our 7-year-old. Oh, red velvet cake is so good. So good. Yeah, well, they end up buying my daughter a basket. And I think my mother's buying her more, and then her mother's buying my daughter more. When the boys were little, there was times where I bought them just as much on Easter as I did Christmas, especially when I just had 2 of them before. Well, and Keelan was always there too. He just might not have been living with me, but normally I would have him there with me. And so, as years, I bought them just as expensive gifts on Easter as I did during the year, at Christmas. Just out of just me, just out of just me, and had it like that. So, but I'm not really. My peoples was Roman Catholic. Some of them peoples was Roman Catholic. It was funny, dude was saying, what happened while all them Nazis was able to go to South America. Well, one thing that never left to South America that lingered from the conquistadors was the Roman Catholic churches that are still there. So, damn, the case of the, what is this? I don't know about this. Let's hear about this. Whoops. I don't know what this is, but I think it's worth finding out. It looks like it's on the debauchery side of things. So let's see what they're going to tell us.
On September 12, 2021, this man, 38-year-old Antoine Suggs, assassinated 4 innocent people in the middle of the night. Our small team of investigative reporters has gathered the footage and case.
Okay, this is some bullshit. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. I thought it was some other shit. I'm sorry, y'all. That was some bullshit. I'm sorry. That was definitely some bullshit. That was definitely, I'm sorry that was some bullshit. Because that's what that was. I hope just everybody, you know, was able to enjoy their family.
Why do NBA players take out their insoles when
Yeah. Because them insoles, let me see, I can probably play this short video. I can probably play this.
giving their sneakers to fans? We've all seen countless instances of fans receiving sneakers from NBA players. Just imagine yourself in the shoes of this fan when your favorite basketball player gives you his sneakers, but for some reason, the basketball player always gives away these sneakers without the insoles. Is it all about the price of these insoles? Because their price is approximately $3,000. This is because for each basketball player, they are created personally. It is simply unprofitable.
Yeah, I get the same thing. This is exactly how mine are made. And they're not $300, more like $5 to $7.
To give away sneakers along with insoles, because then the basketball player will again have to make a footprint and wait until it is made personally from.
But yeah, that's the way you get them. That's how mine. It ain't $3,000 though. They can be made for about $7, so that's cap. $3,000 is cap. They're trying to give you a dun dun dun. I think where's he at? I think I'm going to give a little bit more of this while I take a stretch break. So, oh, damn. Ran away. You can't run away from my love. There's no place to hide. Plus, you can jump 2 to 3 inches higher. Where was I? Where was I? Kyrie's been jumping out the gym this season. He's been out quicking people. He's been out quicking people. So, you know, he's, yeah, just the way he can hit people and you know, be an ex-receiver, the way, you know, you can run straight at a person. I think that was my advantage. Like all the years of me playing semi-pro professional basketball, my advantage was I could dribble a basketball and run at a person and make the same kind of football cuts, the same time dribbling the ball. I mean, that's where football really helped me in basketball, to cut off people, you know. And it was the same thing as being a receiver, but, you know, I've always, you know, could handle the ball. I probably at one time had a hard time, you know, keeping my head down when I should have looked up. But later, you know, you pick that up too. And so, but we all, you know, just pick up things in our game. You know, oh, okay, shit. It's gonna be there. I'm on some bullshit. Yeah, here we go. All right. I'm going to go take a bathroom break. I'm going to give a little more of my brother ancestral
God, that is such
production.
an absurd lie.
So
There I
here
go
we
with this
go.
absurd again. But that's pretty much all I can come to when it comes to Tariq analysis. Haitian Revolution was born out of the African spirit. I noted last week, Nat Turner saw images of hieroglyph, the serpent. Those are totems of Africa, across Africa. The totems of the serpent and the bird is that African drum. Why do you think the African drum was banned by the Europeans, and we were communicating with that? And it's not the first time you had multiple African cultures that spoke different yet related languages come together as a group. Our oldest record of that is in the Nile Valley. Dr. Clyde Winters has covered all of that. It's very interesting to me. Tariq featured Dr. Clyde Winters in one of his movies, and it's about time Dr. Winters got his flowers. But Tariq should read him. He should read Dr. Winters. My work wouldn't exist without Dr. Winters. I am a student of Dr. Winters. I've never met him, but my work is a product and build on Dr. Winters' work. in a fundamental way, and I would not have the arguments I have on the front page of this channel that shows our connection to ancient Israel and the traditions of ancient Israel and the narratives of ancient Israel if it were not for Dr. Winter's work. So Dr. Winter's work annihilates the arguments that Tariq is making. And there was a nice woman that made a comment in here who brought up Dr. Winter's work, but obviously she's not aware with all of it. I'm a student of Dr. Winter's work. My courses are based off Dr. Winter's work. So speaking of that, I want to take a look at a quote that was in the comment section from Professor Black Truth. There is simply no substitute for the moral legitimacy that foundational Black Americans represent. Really? So you tell me what is morally legitimate about saying you have no opinion about an ongoing genocide? What moral legitimacy are you talking? There is no morality in that. There is a selfish, pale racist morality in that, which is really not moral. It is immoral to watch a genocide and have no opinion. So, see, the FBA is stained. It's stained with a new emergence of a right-leaning population of Black Americans that are generating pale racist narratives and talking points. Look at this again, Ed. You look at 13,000 dead children in Palestine. I wouldn't care if they were European kids. I don't give a fuck. 13,000 dead kids. And these are people that say they have no opinion on the subject matter. They will even more callously say, what have the Palestinians done for us? People that can't, oh, it's a ridiculous question. Given the circumstances that they are in, the lack of empathy, the Europeanness, and I'm talking about the racist, the European of these views is astounding. There is simply no substitute for the moral legitimacy that foundational Black Americans represent. There is no moral legitimacy in saying you don't have an opinion about a genocide. None. How can you claim morality? The arrogance of it. It reeks. It reeks. And you mean to tell me that they think other people are actually supposed to empathize with our rightful claim to reparations when you turn your cheek on a genocide? No. They're going to say, fuck you. And I don't blame them. That's why it's imperative that they know that there are many more like us that demand reparations, but which also see the moral travesty of what's taking place in Palestine. So I want to go back to his assertion. Do people in the diaspora really know their history? Which, yes, they do. He wants to say because they took loan words. And like I said, the second African gentleman, dog walked him on the linguistics. And Tariq had to get up off the line with that mute button. Tariq uses that mute button quick when he starts to take him. And he took an L. He took a total L. He wasn't even aware he was taking an L. So the idea that the tribes in Africa are new and that they don't know their ancient history and et cetera, those is all things that Europeans have been saying for years. They were named by Europeans, yes, but you have to go ask the people themselves. They know who they are. And yes, there were many migrations and syncretism. It's a norm for us. It's a norm for us. And what I've said before is the common symbols and the common ancient prehistorical patterns rise to the surface in those syncretizations. My work shows that. So we have recurring themes and we have a basic religious premise of divine emanationism, divine kingship also. All of that, we're inclusive. So his argument is, it's pointless there. So, and he says as foundational Black Americans, of us not knowing our history, it shows how ignorant he is of the subject. And if he's not ignorant of the subjects, think of how much worse that is.
All right. I want to fuck around. And I'm gonna fuck around. Let's see. I don't think that's where it was. And maybe I lost my place, so maybe I won't. Oh, okay. I won't fuck around. Because I was into one McCall. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I read that part. Yeah, I think when I do read, I'll read that part. That's what I'll do. So, gosh, forgot to do this. Let me see if I can get this operator on the phone. How did I do that? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I see. All right. Okay. That answered my question. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little bit of this brother's work. This is Ancestral Productions. Subscribe to him and listen to his stuff because he has some good stuff. As always, use your discernment. Damn, Pistol Pete scored 64 against Kentucky and Dan Issel. Shit, he was hooping. He was hooping on you. Oh, he was really putting that work in. Wow, 64 without a three-point shot. People just don't know all the amount of work you got to put in to score, that many points. I mean, I've only saw one person score 100. Tim Reed scored 100 in a tournament in prison. And, I mean, he was like really, like, this is how I to describe him. It's like, there's a football game called, it's called Tackalina, Smear the Queer. It's a bunch of different names where you throw the ball up and the dude just runs with the ball. Tim Reed would do that with a basketball. I mean, this cat, 5 dudes would be like 5 teaming him. And I not one time saw anybody rip him. Like, this is like everybody would, because he wouldn't pass. I mean, that was his flaw, is he really wouldn't pass. He would beat all 5 and there'd be nobody there and he'd get a dunk because he'd beat them all. But it was like all 5 would try to press him. He's one of the few guys that I saw that could really consistently beat 5 people. And strong enough to really keep people off him. I imagine Mark White got a little bit of a move that I say I got to get it from Mark White, but Tim had it too, where, like he was one of the, and Mark was really good at it too. I got it more from Mark, but I saw Tim do it as well, as where he was really good at, so say I'm here dribbling and they reach, Tim would push that hand away, then he would cross over. And so somebody else would reach here, he would push that hand away and then cross back over to the hand. I mean, Mark, I saw Mark do it more than Tim, but Tim did it too. And that was something I picked up. Is, push their hands away and then cross back over to that hand after you've pushed them away and pushed them off. And like if you're in close with dudes, you're doing it really quick and you're like pushing people off on both sides. And it's like, finally, say you push that dude off hard to your left, push his hand away, you can just take it up. So, just some things to add in there. So, what do you say? Bishop McBone, what's happening? And I never have to worry about you and y'all.
My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches? What?
Sly has been hurting a lot of people's feelings. Damn, he's on a tear. Okay, I have no beef with Sly, so I hope he's not hurting my feelings. I couldn't find his work earlier. I was looking to see if he had any work. I don't think I could find it. I have to go in my history. Yeah, because I ain't really been on the phone, you know. So, well, I mean, usually the people whose feelings he hurts generally deserve it. So I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, Sly. So don't have me on there grilling me because regardless, I have no ill feelings to the brother at all. So, but he seems to be pretty good at doing that, you know. A lot of, so yeah, he seems to be good at that. So I'm glad it's not aimed at me because I have no ill wills to him or his camp. At all. There's enough room for all of us to talk about what we talk about. That's all. And we, oh, so they had a game. So this game was already Sunday, March. Oh, so this was last weekend. Oh, that's Indoor Football League. Yeah, I think the other games start. I think there's football tomorrow, y'all. Let's look at this. Let me collapse this. I think there's football tomorrow. Let's see. UF. Here we go. UFL schedule. UFL TV schedule. What the fuck is this? It's Detroit. This is the Birmingham Stallions. Season begins Saturday. Oh, it began today. It began today. Okay. What channel were they on? Fox? Oh, it was the game on early today. All right. It was the game on today. I missed that. I missed both games because of a basketball. Let me see. So Sunday, ESPN shows a game before the basketball games. Okay. So noon will probably be 11 my time, I'm guessing. Team owners approved new retake will essentially become a dead play. Yeah, so it's one game tomorrow. So we missed the games. Yeah, I missed the games today because of the basketball. So it already started. So those of you that love sports as much as I do. There it is. Oh, okay. Let's yeah, I didn't see that today. Said ex Bronco. Who's the ex Broncos? 23 ex Broncos playing. Who all are they? Let's see. The most notable Bronco player playing in the league is Cody Latimer, who won Super Bowl 50 as a receiver with Denver in 15. Now he plays tight end for the San Antonio Brahmas. Also is ex-Broncos specialist Marcus King, Kobe Waters. Some players listed. Casey Cooks, only a Brent Steen, but all of them wore a Denver uniform for at least one practice session. Here's a look at players that you might have known. Jamar Carter, Arlington Renegades. Dante Hood, Arlington Renegades. Oh, where'd it go? Okay. Cameron Hunt, Arlington Renegades. Punter Marquette King, Arlington Renegades. Kicker Taylor Russolino, Arlington Renegades. Offensive tackle Christian DeLaro is with Birmingham. Zach Johnson was with Birmingham. Punter Kobe Wadman is in Birmingham. Outside linebacker Andre Mays is with DC Defenders. Defensive lineman Niall Scott, DC Defenders. Avery Hennessy, Houston Rough Riders. Jared Guaratano, Houston Roughnecks. I'm sorry. Carlo Kemp, Houston Roughnecks. KC Cookies, Memphis Showboats. That's the ex-USFL name. Darren Palio. Looks like he should be on one of them old books. Nate McCrary, Michigan Panthers. Trey Quinn, Michigan Panthers. Cody Latimer, San Antonio Brahms. Darius Phillips, Brahms. Ray Watson. Kelvin Tolliver. There's way too many motherfuckers. Derek Shepard. Pitt Tabapuno. God damn. Okay, that's enough of these motherfuckers. That's enough. I can't take it anymore. But for the football lovers, so when you get up early, it'll be a game on. And I'm not going too much longer. What is 2? Yeah, I'm about to knock out any minute. Sit there and just watch a bunch of shorts. My eyes are watering, so screen must be getting into me or something. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness. I must admit, during the blowout, I had a good nap. That was a good thing about the blowout with UConn. It was like nigga was out. Nigga was knocked out. Well, you know what? I'm gonna keep this at 2 hours. I'll do my last of my Final Four kind of stuff tomorrow. I'll give about another couple minutes of maybe a little bit of philosophizing. Let me get comfortable and see what I can add to what I've already said. You know, I hope every night that I come on, and when I do come on, I always do try to, you know, put positive energy out there. Because again, you know, the more positive energy or the more balanced energy that you put out there, that's you know what the world receives is balanced energy, and that's what I want to put out there. You know, I don't think anyone can see that that I'm perfectly imperfect for sure. You know, that's definitely for sure. I'm perfectly imperfect, and I never said that I wasn't. But I come on here, I think Sly did say before, it's a type of therapy, definitely, to get these thoughts and these ideas and share these thoughts and ideas with the world. Because sometimes, you know, having these thoughts and ideas and this imagination, you're never able to inspire enough because everything is inside. Or you know, it comes and you know, it's hard for you to make it relatable. Like people look at you and it's hard for them to try these things that you say that you experience. You know, the concepts. You know, some of these things are too hard for some. And I try to be, you know, this channel and my other channel that they took it, they're consistent. You know, maybe think about more of what I'm saying, especially when it comes to certain bugs and things. And it doesn't really become fair or unfair. It's just the way it is. So if you got caught by it, you just got caught by it. And there's nothing you can do but just continue and keep putting your message out there and hoping that as you mature and the message is clear to you, that it's clear to everyone else. I mean, that's the most that I would like to do is like the way I explain some of these concepts is relatable, especially if, you know, the sources and stuff. It's like I was going to read a little bit about the Hero Twins, and I mean, for Americans, all that their concept and their stories are relatable, because again, these are stories about the Americas, and so you know these parts that you hear about it, all of it's relatable, because there's things that you've heard about the Americas that are in these stories. and And so there's, you know, there's layers that are on top of us, and there's things around us that are really, things that, people say, to be in tune and to vibrate high enough, but there's so many things to plug in to make all that easier. And that's why I say, driving is one of the easiest examples of it's really a thing where you can plug into it, and the technology will almost take you there and it do it itself. And so the same thing goes for the way you work, your career. There's always different parts of it to plug into to make your impact or make it work for you. And I don't think when it comes to did we agree to come here, I think that's such a long concept. But what we do agree on, we agree on what's next. That's what we seem to agree on. What's next? Okay, I go to sleep and wake up. What's next? We kind of agree on that. And these phones is the same thing. It's that mini what's next. Life is the slow swipe. The phone is the constant swipe. And these computers, these multiple screens. And that's America. But that's how most of us are programmed. Like, what's next? What are we going to do next? So, instead of accepting, right now it's okay. And, they say, what they say, eeny, meeny, mighty, mo. Catch a deal by its toe. And if you catch him, hold him on and don't let go. And not following the world, and getting caught up in distractions, because the world is full of distractions. The world is really full of why should I care? I mean, when you look at some of this shit, it's like, why do I care? Especially when it comes to the nigga news. The nigga news is some of the most interesting news of all. That a nigga is doing this, a nigga's doing that. Nigga's happy, a nigga's sad, a nigga done spent some money. I mean, it is the most uninspiring thing to listen to. And it's the same thing all over again. It's the same thing all over again and again and again. And people get sucked into it over and over and over again, repeating stories, repeating events. And that's what the distraction is. Instead of you working on you, they want you to think of something outside of yourself instead of you working on you. Instead of you being the main point. And that's what a distraction is. It's anything that takes you away from you. Anything that takes your interests. Because like the thing with the phones is it's micros, it's micro interests. But what they're counting on and the shit that goes viral is the shit that everybody takes notice of. For that microsecond or minutes. But the strong minds, he's like, okay, I'll listen to some of this shit, but for the most part, this like makes no sense, and it makes no sense discussing it. It's like that's what I get on the women around me. My mother and the in-laws. That's my problem with them. It's like women, and I'm gonna say, my mother, my wife, but in generally they just gossip about shit and don't even realize it. Like I said, my mother just in gossip conversation would talk shit about my brother and I. And not in a mean fashion, just in an as how do I want to say it? It's just this conversation, and I'm like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, what have I done that do I deserve this type of poison? Like, she would help, like my mother would help my brother, whatever he was going through, and then talk shit about helping him. I mean, what that takes away from helping him. And like when you give somebody something, that's it's out of your hands. So there can't be any intention where, I want you to. No, it's no intention like that. It's on the individual. But there are family heirlooms and such. And so the distraction takes away from yourself. That's what the problem is. As you get around people, then you talk about the shit. You get around people, the shit comes up. So if niggas want to really know that's what distraction happens. It's like you can't get away from it. Everywhere you go out to eat, niggas is talking about it. You go to a bar, niggas is talking about it. You go to work, niggas is talking about it. You're around your in-laws, niggas is talking about it. These are distractions that are consistent, persistent, that somebody wants everybody to pay attention to. So this is when we say, these things have to be artificial. This is what we mean, these kind of events. Because how can it? Everybody go around got something to say about something, some current event. It ain't Pearl Harbor. It's some minor bullshit. And a lot of reporters get suckered into that. They feel like they got to talk about this nigga shit. I can't be left out of talking about nigger shit. I need to rush to talk about nigger shit. I gotta be the first to talk about nigger shit. Need I remind you, I was the first to come up with this nigger shit. So that's why I don't, and to me, those is how distractions work. It's that persistent and consistent. So, don't know what else to tell you. That's the way to put it. And there's so much in life, that doesn't want you to concentrate on you. Life, again, doesn't want the God in you to ever come out. It wants the God in you to be imprisoned. Whatever type of source energy you can tap into, this is something that is highly stopped. And it's like really the people that finally, I'm going to say break the veil more than anything. Because the other terms just don't, we can't rely on those terms anymore. But when you break the veil, you can't unsee. So that, motherfuckers say cipher, can you ever go back to being cipher once you break the veil? No. You can't see what you've already seen, you can't unsee. And that's what's wrong with cipher is like once you see it, you can't unsee it. But again, his thing is unplug me and reprogram me. And what happens is you have to ignore it. Like a dude, I hope I can find that short again. A dude asked, I've said this last night, a dude asked Dix Gregory, he said, what do you guys call it? What do you call it sacrificing your energy signal? He said, we call it something else. That's how they tolerate it. They don't even call it that they're sacrificing their energy signal. And he don't lie about it. He says, we call it something else. They have a whole nother initiation that brings it in on another name. So that's how they live with it. And I mean, whenever they caught him about that, he told the truth about it. He said, we don't call it that. We call it something else. So, he told you. He told you right there. No, we don't call it taking our energy signature. We call it something else. And long as we call it something else, we can live with it. Just like, all these pro players that have all these stories and all these chats. Remember, most of them are still under pension. So what they're telling is pretty much what they're allowed to tell. And then consider the people like McCants. One thing you got to look at McCants is I know he didn't play long enough to get pension money. So he might have a little more truth to what he's saying because I don't think he played long enough to get pension money. But Arenas and all them other cats, they under NBA pensions. So they're only saying what they're allowed to say. And so keep that in mind, looking at them cats. Them cats that ain't under pension might be a little more. I'm surprised Royce White ain't on, because he was kind of heavily kind of saying that, you know, about the games, the games being fixed. And never, put it past the killing players too. I mean, that's an easy thing. Again, I show the morbid news every night. So microtransaction. Hey, Ninja Cool, what's happening? Thank you for joining me.
Got to have vision.
So you keep this in mind. They're not really telling any real truths or telling anything that they're not allowed to tell. These people ain't free from handling. And these people gonna really need these pension monies. These cats is in their early to late 40s. They waiting for when they get 50 or whatever, 55, when they get that pension money. Some of them are gonna be quite substantial. So again, you got to keep that in mind. They're not going to risk that by saying something that's going to risk that. So they're only going to say so much, and the league wants so much. They want a certain narrative out there again. The league likes that, because the league likes, the way the beast works, the beast likes all eyes on it. Like I've told many times, when I get into, how the divine feminine created porn. And in its early infant stages, she loved that shit. She loved that, the sexual freedom was there, that expressed the divine feminine. But what that shit turned into later is, again, when the creator looked at all them screen, it was like, yeah, I opened up a little too much, didn't I? Yeah, honey, you did. And we see that American Gods, when she's putting the man up inside her. That's what it came to. The porn turned in sideways. It wasn't this beautiful thing of free love anymore. It turned into something so that she didn't even recognize what it turned into. Again, it shows gods could make mistakes, even though their intentions was good. You underestimated people's debauchery. That makes any sense. How long? 2 hours? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get in bed decent time because I got a full day tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Caught up on the games tomorrow. We'll catch up on the games and look for me around 12-ish to break down the 2 games tomorrow night. So thank you for joining me on my galactic patio with your one and only Flint Pontiac on the galactic patio. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And definitely thank you until we meet again. Or should I philosophize a few more minutes? Let me give a few more minutes of philosophizing. I mean, good vibrations and keeping your spirits high, it's not always easy. It's a challenge. As I talk about many times, what the witch says, love and above. I mean, that's always challenged. You're never, like when I talk about a full cup, like you wake up with a full cup of love. And then as you go through just what you have to go through with your family, your wife and everything, that full cup easily, a little bit spills out. So then by the time you get in your car, more of the cup of love is spilled out. So by the time you go to work, and it's just hard to keep that love cup full, is my point, the metaphor I'm trying to make. Because that's what life is. It's just like trying to hold a cup, and the cup's got liquid and it's full, and you trying to go around with things. So it's awkward. It's awkward handling. And that's our life sometimes. The way we have to go about, solving problems, solving things, being mature enough to say patience. It's like, okay, this is a good opportunity, but it's going to be other good opportunities. So I need to move a little slower. because everything around me wants me to move fast, but right now I just need to move a little slower. You dig? And so like everything you plan and everything you do, learn lessons from it. Teach yourself. Self-taught. Teach yourself your own lessons. How you go about things and manifesting. Teach yourself these kind of lessons. Learn from yourself. Don't think that you can't be the teacher and the student at the same time. Because you can. But believe in yourself. Don't be tricked by the will of the free. Live you. Be there now. Be here now. Be there now. Be here now. Work on your knowing. Every day, make that part of your advancement of everyday maturity. All right. That's my wise words. Thank you guys so much. That's all. Well, I guess that's how it is. All right.